How to teach guitar. If you know how to play the guitar, you can monetize your skill by teaching guitar. However, this is not just a walk in the park. There are several factors to consider for you to understand how to teach guitar. Just like any teaching job, you have to first be passionate about your subject. You can't sustain your guitar students' interest if you adopt a nonchalant approach. In summary, while it is smart to make money from whatever skill you have it in mind that your first duty is to impart knowledge. Before you start teaching guitar, you have a lot of planning to do. And when you eventually get your guitar students, you still have more planning to do. This video will give detailed insights into what must be done or avoided. Do you need qualifications to become guitar teacher? People want to learn from someone that can prove that they have sufficient knowledge about a topic. To teach guitar, you necessarily don't have to own a music certificate from a prestigious music school. However, having one will definitely not hurt your chance at obtaining clients. Yes, it will help, but it is not a necessity. Instead, you should have certain qualities as a guitar teacher. Being passionate about the guitar. You are not expected to be narrow-minded in thinking that your teaching is merely a means to an end. If you're just doing this for money, your students will find out in no time and they wouldn't be invested in learning from you anymore. Be patient when it comes to teaching. Patience is not just a virtue but a required skill that you must quickly learn. And when it comes to teaching guitar, a lot of patience is required. Knowledge of the guitar. You definitely should not attempt to teach guitar if you are at the beginner level yourself. People want to learn from an experienced guitarist. Even if you do not have a lot of references, you can still teach as long and have successfully improved your skills over time. As you have continuously learned how to play the guitar, for instance, at an intermediate level, you should have enough experience to pass on as a guitar teacher to a beginner. However, you should also keep learning to get better and improve your guitar playing skills. Good teaching skills and communication. Being good at playing the guitar does not automatically make you a good guitar teacher. Just like playing the guitar is a skill, teaching is also a skill. In summary, effective communication between you and your guitar student matters. They should always be able to come to you when they are in doubt. This is efficient in making them learn faster. When it comes to teaching guitar, you have to let go of your ego and do what is best for your students. Be versatile. This is an important part of being a guitar teacher. Before you claim to be a teacher, you have to be able to play different music styles or genres. Your guitar student may not be interested in your guitar repertoire, so you have to be able to teach a wide range of music styles to your guitar students, at least until they find their own niche. How to find guitar students. If you know you have those qualities mentioned above, the next step is to try to get clients. Finding your first guitar student might seem like a Herculean task. However, there are few effective ways to go about it. To do this, though, you have to be prepared to spend some money. Creating flyers. This is one of the cheapest ways to advertise and find guitar students. Get a good graphic designer to create a professional-looking flyer for you. Make sure to add information on how you can be reached to the flyer. Use social media. We live in a digital world and everything has been made easy by the internet. This fact can't be over-exaggerated. If you happen to have a lot of followers on your social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, you can easily find guitar students by posting about your guitar playing experience and availability to teach. Create a website. An official website will give you credibility. You can easily learn how to create a website online if you don't have the funds, or enlist the help of a professional if you can afford it. A professional is likely to know how your website can gain traffic and provide advice on how SEO works. Reach out to schools. You have a shot at getting guitar students if you approach schools in your neighborhood. You can try phoning several schools around you or send emails to them to inquire about guitar teaching vacancies. Creating a price list. This is the most dreaded or ignored aspect for guitar teachers. Although we said you shouldn't do this for money, money is still very important. You have to understand that you can help your students better if you have better earnings. For instance, you will be able to lease a teaching studio, buy recording equipment, create more learning materials that will help you and your students. Believe it or not, without a proper pricing system in place, you will wear yourself out easily. You should keep it in mind that you have to calculate what it cost you to create the videos and online materials before you make a decision on your pricing system. Your prices don't have to be exorbitant, however, they don't have to be too small either. Try to strike a balance. One great thing is to check out what other similar teachers are charging and see how you can undercut the market without selling yourself too short. Finding a venue for teaching. If you are lucky to find a school to employ you, a teaching venue is not a problem. Also, if a parent or guardian approaches you to give private guitar lessons to their wards, then you are in luck. However, if none of these is available to you, you have to look for other alternatives. Teaching kids how to play the guitar. This is an honorable mention. In your search for guitar students, be prepared to have parents enlist your service for their little kids. Having a kid as your guitar student is a different ball game entirely. Kids get carried away easy and might not be easy to control, so you will need the patience mentioned above in truckloads. What to teach in your first guitar class? The first thing is to be confident, especially if you are new to teaching guitar. You might be a tad nervous, but you have to show that you know what you are doing. Also, you have to learn how to ease your students into their guitar lessons. This is why you need to create a teaching syllabus centered around the topics they need to learn. On easing your students in, a very helpful tip that has proven to be effective is to teach them the caged system. This acronym is gotten from the 8 chords C, A, G, E, D, M, DM and M. It does not matter if you are teaching kids, teenagers or adults. How to create a guitar lesson syllabus. A syllabus is simply a document with information on what will be taught in a course. A syllabus isn't just limited to academic institutions, you can also apply to your guitar lessons to help you teach your students more effectively. You do not want to waste all that time to teach them, only to realize that they haven't learned anything. The money might be good, but your pride as a teacher will be bruised. Skills. This is one of the most overlooked questions that guitar teachers fail to ask themselves before proceeding with guitar lessons. We recommend that you begin with the foundations, depending on the skill level of your student. For the sake of conversation, let us say that they are beginners. Here are the things you need to teach them. Music theory. The most important thing to start with is to teach your students music theory. You don't have to necessarily take them through the entirety of music theory. But you do have to provide them with the basics of music theory that will have an impact on how you end up molding them as guitar players. Tablature. Tablature is also one of the fundamental skills that you should teach during guitar lessons. You must also have learned to read tabs when you started as a guitar player, which is why it is almost a no-brainer that your students should also do the same. Tabs are a pinned-down version of the guitar string. Teaching your students tablature aids in giving your students understanding the guitar neck. Sheet music. Let's face it, people tend to be last when it comes to this aspect of music. They would rather just do their own thing as far as it sounds good. Raise your students like classical musicians. Using sheet music makes learning new works easier for your students and also improve their knowledge of music. Scales. Pentatonic scales are the best scales to teach your students since most guitar music has them as their basis. You don't have to stop there, though. Tutor your students about minor and major scales along with harmonic scales to give them an edge over the average guitar player. Basic strumming patterns. You students cannot play the guitar until they can strum, and this is popular opinion. which is why you need to teach them some basic strumming patterns during guitar lessons. Simply pick 2 or 3 strumming patterns for them to work on until they are comfortable with the process. Here are some strumming patterns that we recommend. The universal strumming pattern. This involves using a combination of the quarter and eighth notes. The indie rock strum pattern. This pattern is achieved with the combination of the quarter, eighth and 16th notes. The modern strum pattern. This pattern also uses with the combination of the quarter, eighth, and 16th notes. If you feel like things are getting boring for your students, you can always switch to teach guitar maintenance. Now that you already know the skills that you want to teach to your students, the next step is to break down these skills into schedules in a way that will neither overwhelm nor bore them to death. Time and scheduling. The best way to create a syllabus is to break down every lesson into time frames and strictly adhere to them. By doing so, you get the best out of the guitar lessons and you are able to measure the progress of your students. We will shed more light on this. So how do you properly schedule your guitar lessons? Let us walk you through the process. How much time can you spend per lesson? You must take your time to make this decision. The average time frame is usually between 30 to 45 minutes per lesson. Break skills into categories. Now that you know how much time you are going to spend per lesson, you now need to figure out how to effectively teach your students the skills highlighted. Measure their progress before you begin gauging how well your students are doing. You need to play your part. How? You need to spend some time, let's say 10 minutes in every 30-minute guitar lesson, checking their progress. In conclusion, teaching guitar is not something you should rush into once the notion occurs to you. You have to weigh your pros and cons and plan to the very small detail. Also, when you achieve this dream, keep trying to become a better teacher. Anyway, with that said, go out there and get your first student. If you've enjoyed this video, click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you'll know once we post a new video. Also drop a comment below so we can know your thoughts. Finally, don't forget to check the description below for more details and visit our site, www.zimguitars.com for more awesome guitars content like this.